was a theater called Biziou? Is that right?
Yeah, New York, a big movie theater called the Biziou.
Well, let me ask you a question. Were you, Barbara Biziou, related? I'm recording.
Okay.
Were you related to the Biziou theater?
No, not at all.
What kind of a theater was it? Do you know any history on it, and where was it?
I remember going to it when I was a kid. It was like one of those big movie theaters that, you see in the movies actually, you don't see anymore. Um, I have to look it up. It was uptown someplace in
Oh,
my
uptown.
mind.
Uptown. Interesting.
I don't know if it was West Side or East Side. I truly have not a clue. It'd be good to look it up.
Well, there's some theaters. A buddy of mine just took over a theater next to the Apollo. That was a classic theater, 125th Street, and made
Oh,
a
really?
Renaissance hotel out of it. And it's magnificent. But you had to keep all the landmark status
Yes.
uh, uh, aspects of this facility, which are, not so easy after 100 years. Barbara, you help to make people calm. You help the people become more introspective to their lives. I know you a long time,
I
and
have known
you
you a long
and you
time.
stuck with this. You are passionate about the kind of work that you do as is a healer a correct term?
It's funny because people say, "Are you a healer?" And I always say no, but I guess in one way, I mean, we're all healers. So for me, it's not so much about hands-on healing as, emotional, mental, spiritual healing. So in a way, I guess so I could be called a ritualist, a celebrant, a teacher, a guide. I've struggled with this for years, Paul, what to call myself.
Well, let me ask you, how did all this begin for you? Were you, in essence, we'll just use healer as the word, or all those other terms. Now, when you were a little baby, Barbara, were you anything more of a person who would like help others find their way or share with them?
I was always very intuitive, and I think that's one of the things. Like probably almost all the people I know who are doing this work now, as kids, we were intuitives. I was probably a real empath. I picked up on people's feelings. But I don't think I ever thought of doing this for a living. I mean, as far as I was concerned, I was going to, I don't know, open an art gallery, travel. I was a real sage. I just wanted to, which I still do, I just wanted to travel and learn new things and be adventurous.
Did you go to college for any of this, or are you a
I
psychologist?
went to Syracuse for psychology and art history. Really, I spent time in Italy. I wound up living in Europe for a bunch of years, but
Oh,
I don't think it really sunk in for me until my sister died, and
oh,
I was young and I was only 26. So when she died and she was younger, and that was, one of those wake up calls you get in life that makes you go, wait a minute, what's the meaning? What's going on? How could we fix it? And that really kind of skyrocketed me into this search on how could we help ourselves and others. I started helping me, you know.
uh-huh. Now, how did you go about helping you?
I took every course, I studied with any teacher, I really did. I just started a real journey. I luckily found some amazing teachers who really helped me. But in the meantime, I didn't do it full time. I mean, I had jobs, I had careers. I wound up being a single mother at one point, so I had to raise my kid and support him. So I'd be doing my day job and then coming home and teaching meditation at night, or that kind of thing.
Wow. Did you teach your child meditation, and does your child
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
meditation?
It's funny because I used to have a meditation group here every single week when he was growing up. And there was a point when he kind of rolled his eyes a lot at, this wacko stuff his mother was doing with crystals and healing and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he, like a lot of kids, he went away from it. But then I remember he got his first job and he was working for Nickelodeon, actually, down in Texas, working on a TV show. And he called me up one day and he goes, Mom, I just met this girl, when we went to this party and we were looking around and I saw this picture and I said, oh, wow, this looks like a heart chakra. And she goes, you know about chakras? That was it. All of the skepticism went out the window. Suddenly he said I was the most popular person in the party because all these girls wanted to talk to him. He knew about all this stuff.
Do you think that, and I will also say that I lean towards, I'll call it spiritualness. I'm also an interfaith spiritual minister ordained. I'm a
Right.
yoga, I went to yoga school through Claire Diab, my friend, who's Deepak Chopra's yogi. You know our mutual friend Laura Norman with her reflexology and her spiritualness uh,
Right.
extraordinaire.
She is the most positive person I have ever met on the entire planet. The
What
most positive.
she is magnificent, and in addition, trusting and open and
Yes,
supportive
loving.
and
Yeah.
caring and loving. She's magnificent. I just saw her recently down in Florida,
Yeah.
with Michael, and just a special person. What do you think it takes for somebody to, there are hard knocks in life. There's sadness, there's death, there's not death, there's happiness, there's divorce, there's
Yeah.
there's being not having a lot of money, there's having a lot of money. They and all of them have their challenges. Even things that people might think a big mansion might be wow, and a big country club,
Yeah.
well,
No.
then last thing you hear
Yeah.
on the news today, 5 minutes ago, about this very multi-million billionaire children problems. What do you think? What do you think keeps
You
someone
know,
together?
for me, it's about building spiritual resiliency. The energy, you know, in our planet is very intense. It's like we're in a tornado or a tsunami all the time. So we can't pretend it doesn't exist, I don't think. I mean, to me, it's like my mantra seems to be see the chaos, but don't become the chaos. So it's like, you want to be smart about what's happening in life and not pretend, even though on a certain level we know it's all an illusion, but we live in this illusion. So it's real. Um, However, without a spiritual practice, without, and I don't care what it is, there could be many different ways of doing it. You build a spiritual container that will allow, it's like a tree with real roots. You also need to be grounded. That's something the last few years, especially, I'm really focused on teaching people how to ground themselves. Otherwise, you just spin, your mind just takes over and you go crazy, about all this horror in the world and what's happening. And, you're right. I mean, there's a lot going on that's challenging, and you need to be aware of it, but you also have to take care of that little child inside. I mean, I lost a very dear friend this week.
Oh,
And, part of me on a spiritual level understood she was also very spiritual. I know she believed, I know she's happy where she is. I know all of that on one level. On another level, my heart's broken. I miss her. And it's really hard and it makes me feel vulnerable. It's someone I've known, most of my life. So it's either and, not either or for me.
I appreciate it. I lost my this year, some months ago, my oldest friend from my little old
No.
town, and the drummer in our band, my friend for many years, and
Yeah.
um, it's it's a sadness, just like you're losing your sister in the early 20s,
Right.
mid 20s. It's a sadness. Let me ask, how do you though? We're good news, and we've stuck with this life affirmation, and we are really believers that most of the world lives in peace and in harmony.
Right.
I'm on that page. I'm staying on that page because it makes no sense for me not to believe that that is so. I believe people are good, people are kind, people just want a glass of water or they want a hug. So, how does somebody, we are inundated, turn off the news, just
Right.
go within, do this meditation. how does somebody stay with the hope, HOPE? How do you stay with it? How do you hold on to it?
You know, I think partially what you said, to really look at, it's almost, like everybody's doing it now, having a gratitude practice. But the truth is, you know, a friend of mine was here recently and she was saying she's trying to get a project off. She's a little worried about money, whatever. She goes, but I took the subway here and there was a woman with a baby and she was, like selling Hershey's chocolate or something to make money. And you could tell, she said she was from Guatemala. She's not from here, and she said, I looked at that and go, that's not me. My life is not that sad and that hard, so to put it into perspective a little bit about what you do have, number one. And number two, I truly am hopeful about the future, even though what we see, it's like against all odds on some level. But I know, and too, hundreds of thousands of people who are really caring and really want it to be a better world. And unfortunately, we've let, and I have to say that because I feel like we as a people have let some of these egomaniacs rule us. I'm not sure why we did that, but we did. And I'm also a believer that more of a unity consciousness, divine feminine energy is coming back. More and more young people I'm seeing are opening and curious and more empathetic and caring. And, I see it, especially in the young people. I'm very hopeful when I see that.
I love it. I have those grandkids, and they are hopeful. They come to Poppy. They even helped me create the 20th anniversary of Woodstock, a movie
Right.
that hopefully
Wow.
we're going to get out, Peace, Love, and Hope. And
Yeah,
so,
to them, it's ancient history, though, right?
it's no history for them. But the point is that peace and love and hope are, they see and come to me and say, Poppy, you ought to interview that person. You have a magnificent newsletter. Tell us the opportunities other people have to work with you or stay in touch with you. How do we let the world know about you more so?
So to go to my website, barbarabiziou.com, that's B-I-Z as in zebra, IOU.com, and just sign up. I do a free newsletter every week. And as you know, I'm sending out now a meditation every day for the 12 days of the year. So if you sign up now, you can even get access to the back ones. They're all free. And I also am on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, all the socials under my name, Barbara Biziou.
What is peace for Barbara Biziou?
What is peace?
Last
Hmm.
question.
It's a very good question. For me, peace is really living in my heart, not my head. Letting my heart guide me, and my head can, make the strategies, so to speak, but being led by the heart, that's really peace.
Barbara's one smart cookie. All right, Barbara. I've interviewed a lot of people. You're fantastic. Thanks so much. I was real honored to get a chance to speak with you, and I look forward to getting together soon.
Thank you, Paul. Take
Take care.
care.
All right, bye-bye.